Om. तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. We were contemplating on the temple idea. Sri Ramakrishna himself lived in a temple complex, where various people could come and join. It's a unique place where people give up their personal identity. When we go to temple, whether he is a king or a beggar, we are all same, children of God. The higher and lower concept to dissolve to dissolve all differences, the temple was made. To bring people together, to join the hearts. Now also we see here various types of worships are done. At least once in a year, sometimes things like the Naga Mandala and all that. In these regions, South Canara district, Udupi and all that, we see Nagamandala is done, Kola is done. People who have not met for 10-12 years, they join together all. This is an important occasion, something for people to join together in one common platform with a common idea, common ideal. And we saw yesterday divinizing ourselves. When we divinize in divinity and spirituality, all differences dissolve. So when we go to this temple or shrine, though later on in our till the present temple and all that, there might have been some caste-wise differences that you should not enter here, there, this, that and all. That's all later on we can say some deviations from the norms. But the intention is entirely different, and we are slowly coming back to that system. Sri Ramakrishna has come to dissolve all these things. We don't allow people of different classes to be together sometimes in some of the temples and mutts also. The Brahmin class and the other classes are differentiated many places. But as long as its necessity stands, that certain protections are needed. You see, the higher class is afraid to bring the lower class into the fold because they are not stabilized themselves. That they may yield to their way of life and go down instead of pulling them up. Suppose I want to mix with people who are of lowly type of people, then I must be in such a state that I do not fall down. When I am going to lift a person who is flowing away in floods, in water, I must be on the bank. I myself do not know swimming, and I try to pull out a person who is already in the floods being carried away. I too will go with him instead of bringing him up. So the trend in which, suppose now recently, you see, mother was not willing to touch the child who has come from the school after Corona. Corona issue became so wild that own mother was keeping the children usually, the moment they come from school, especially the young children in India, we see running to the mother and mother welcoming them with great love and hugging them. Now after the Corona after when the child wants to come inside, no, go to the bathroom, wash your hands and all with soap. And we see, why did that mother differentiate? For her own protection, for others' protection. So when now the same doctors in the same hospital, when they are supposed to look after the patients with Corona, they were completely covered in such a way the infection cannot touch them. Means they have raised to themselves to such a sterile state that infection cannot harm them all around. It's like that, if realized souls or something like that, highly spiritually evolved, then they can hug everyone. Otherwise, the chances of mind is to flow down to the lower level than to lift the lower people to the higher level. Swami Purushottanandaji, Maharaj in Bangalore Ashrama used to tell us a story. When we were newly joined, see, you have just come from the world, don't mix with everyone so easily. You will be dragged back into the world. You are renounced and come. You have to stabilize yourself. It takes 2-3 years to turn inward and get established in your own ideas and ideal. Otherwise you'll fall. He used to tell that in one of the kingdoms, it is a story that king was moving about in his kingdom freely to see how people live in his country in disguise. He was in disguise. And moving about in the country, all were flourishing. His father, from the father's time, everything was going on well. Now, father has passed away, he has taken over, a decade has passed. After his taking over, he wants to see how his kingdom is there now under the new regime. So he goes seeing all around, he sees one corner towards the forest area, one last portion of people, they have become so uncultured that they are living like living in the slum. They don't have education, children don't have proper food. In dirty area they have created themselves, and then living in that's like living in slums. He thinks, Hare, everywhere that is so nice, how did this happen? So he consults the ministers and then finally decides to send some fine people there to transform this small group. And one fine Pandit who is well versed in scriptures, well versed in psychology, to treat the people, well versed in medicine, such people, a group of people were sent there with all needs and requirements. For the small housing area was prepared for these people to take care of them and all that. And when he was sent, they could take care, and this king came back after making all the arrangements, and he had to attend to some urgent work elsewhere, something like the chances of external war. And he was busy making all the arrangements there for the probable chances of war. And then the years passed, 2 years passed, 3 years passed, in that he had forgotten he had sent the people, and people were like that, because that drew all his attention and the attention of the ministers. Then when everything calmed down and suddenly he remembered what is happening in his country, again he wanted to go around the country to see the situation. He came, again he had to come to this place where he had sent the group to transform them. He went and saw it, still worse condition, worse than what he had seen. Then he started wondering, where have these people come? What has happened to these people? Were they killed or what? Then he started moving about inside. All are drunken states, drug addicts, all are fallen here and there. He goes and asks one person, I had sent such and such Pandit here. Do you know what has happened to him? Where is he? Then that fallen person is telling, oh, Lord, you have come all the way here. It was me whom you have sent. He had become one with them, and the whole group had become addicted to what they were addicted to. And in slum they too started dwelling as they were. So this should not happen. When the people who are in the higher level are able to lift, it is not to differentiate the lower level that they keep them out, but to protect themselves from the great fall that they would have in mixing with the people of lower class. So even now we see lot of difference. A director of any company, he never wants to mix or be with a scavenger or a servant. He doesn't. They may be of same caste, they may be of lower and higher caste. The servant may be belonging to higher caste and this person may be belonging to lower caste. Once that power comes, the director of the company and a servant, the servant is not called to his house for his daughter's marriage. The director's daughter's marriage is there, all are invited, but it is officially invited. If that servant comes, he will not be given the same place as the other director would be given, or they will mix, may allow them to come and be amidst them. There is a place, come, you go, have your food, move about in the wherever you want and go away. The gifts will be given, everything, but equal status, equanimity, equality will be lost. Director is director, servant is servant. This differentiation, classes, these 4 classes, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra and Brahmana will remain in different forms throughout this universe, as long as the humanity exists. These two, the labor class, the managing and planning, separate their Brahmins, the labor class will be Shudras, there will be watch and ward and guard, the Kshatriyas, and the sales and purchases section which belongs to the Vaishyas. These 4 classes will remain at all times. It takes different shapes. We only blame the Brahmins were not mixing with the Shudras and the caste formation. The caste formation continues in a different form. As the higher class, lower class, even in the colleges we see the moneyed people who come in by car, they belong to one group. Those who come on foot without slippers, they belong to another group. They don't join each other, they don't exchange. Those who come by scooter belong to one group. Formerly, schools and colleges we used to find intelligent people joining together, dull students. Now it is wealth-wise. Can spend how much? So this differentiation in different forms stands. So here also in temples also we see later on, though the intention was different, and presently after Sri Ramakrishna's coming into this world and giving us a new life, new lesson, new approach to God, new understanding of one's own self, and the Upanishads have reached even the lowest of the lowest class, that anybody, anywhere can claim his identity as pure spiritual being, irrespective of the wealth or race or the caste-wise differences, gender differences, all differences. You can see in any Ramakrishna centers, even all the Swamis, including the President Swami, sitting with the devotees in the same pangat and eating. There is no differentiation. Sri Ramakrishna repeatedly used to say that devotees belong to a different class by themselves. They call themselves as the servant of God, dasa, and then they try to see the object of their worship in all others, as the Vedic times used to be there, trying to see the Atman in everyone, trying to see the divine in everyone. Same idea and ideal is coming back now with Sri Ramakrishna's advent. By the whole, when we see the universe or anything within the universe, it is moving in a cyclic order. So everything goes down like a wheel and comes up again. We see again the Vedic times again reappearing. It is not permanent. It too takes a different change as the people become more and more materialistic. Spirituality may again come down, again go up. It becomes just like tree and seed. One becomes the seed of the other. Evolution and involution. It goes on and on. Morning we were discussing about the process of someone was telling about the Stone Age. From Stone Age, how did the Darwin's theory? I was explaining to them about how the evolution of jiva takes place from the lowest level to the highest levels of existence, the evolution from the animalhood to humanhood, and during that how the karmic cycle takes man to the different planes of existence, Bhubhuva, Swahama, Janatapa, Atala, Vitala, and all these 14 planes of existence. What are these 14 planes of existence? Why do we go? Do those planes exist? These were the questions and discussions that was going on. In that context, every soul according to the karmic load has to be given. Suppose I go on doing good to others, sacrifice my life, I am ready to accept all pains and suffering for others, then you imagine the quantity of goodness or the quantity of the love and compassion that I offer to this world. I have to get back, I have to be given back. Though I don't expect, the karmas has to come back to me in higher and higher degrees of freedom, higher and higher degrees of joy, higher and higher degrees of light and wisdom. I have to get. So when the accumulated good karmas meritorious acts is so high, this plane of existence becomes insufficient. Here, anywhere you go, the same little, a rich family may have a little more comforts, and a less favorable conditions having people, I may feel less comfortable if I am born in a people where the wealth is not there. I may have to undergo small differences between rich man and people, highly intellectual and less intellectual. Then I may find some amount of difference, small degree differences among the humans on this earth. My meritorious acts have transcended these limits. So I have to be rewarded. I have to be given a place where higher freedom and higher, like that. Similarly, if my sins or the non-meritorious acts are more, then I have to go to the lower level of consciousness, where the lower levels of consciousness exists. More of suffering, more of bondage, more of the bodily existence, less light, less freedom. All these things I have to be provided. So there are 14 planes of existence, 7 above, 7 below, Bhu, Swa. And according to their meritorious or demeritorious acts, Papa or Punya, they go to the different levels, which are not normally little differences. I may be born in rich family or a poor family, or as a human and as an animal. But there are different. So in this context, the question was, they say when we die, are we going to different planes, or are we going to become humans again and again, human alone? We have come from the amoebic level, Darwin's theory. They were referring to the Darwin's theory. From amoeba, and then one by one layer, then monkeys, then humans, the Darwin theory. Like that, what are we going to have the next birth? How can this human become again go to a lower level of being animal again? Then this evolutionary process, we are come to the human. We have to be human again. No, we need not. Our karmic load will be in such a way we may go to any plane. That is, Darwin's theory refers only to the bodily conditions. What happens to the body? I give birth to 4 children and die away. After dying, what happens to my soul? My bodily existence has undergone transformation. It may have evolved from the amoebic state to the human state, more and more. It is bodily developments. What happened to the soul? Scholastic evolution is different from the bodily evolution. The Darwin's theory doesn't apply to the same soul being born again. Scholastic evolution is different from the physical bodily evolution. So bodily evolution is there, then involution also is there. So scholastic evolution is there is involution also. Just like tree becoming seed and seed becoming. So Vivekananda says, if there was a stone age, there must have been highly evolved state of human existence before, which has come back to the stone age again. So all of a sudden, nothing can come out of nothing. So there must be a cause behind. And this human, now we are in a phase of highly intellectual people evolving. Now from Stone Age, if it is true that from Stone Age we have come to the highest evolved state, we are going to go back to the Stone Age. The cyclic movement goes on and on from the Stone Age to the highly evolved stage, and evolved stage to, we are in the realm of time and space. You look at your own bodily existence, how you came into this world, how you developed bodily, how from the helpless child, unable to move, the nature started bringing you up to the prime of youth, where you are fully expanded with lot of strength, energy, courage and all. How you again become slowly helpless as the old age comes. Finally, like a newborn child, you will be on the bed again to leave the body again. So this cycle, does it end with it? The body ends, but the soul continues again to be born and to go. The cycle, the evolutionary process up to the youth, and again involuntary process continues from youth to old age and death. So this transformation, this cycle has to complete from birth to death, from cradle to grave. We are moving in a proper nature provided. So everything is going in that cycle. So here, what is the difference? What the things come up? Now we are thinking, we are contemplating on the temple concept. One of the important temple concept is to dissolve all the differences and identify each other at a spiritual level, at a divine level. We are children of divine. To remind you, temple is supposed to remind you each time, my child, you are not this body, you are divine. Look here, the idol that has been placed is just like a mobile. Mobile is not my friend. I am going to speak to a friend through my mobile because I am not able to come direct contact. I take a media through which I can convey my thoughts, convey my feelings, convey my needs. So I use a instrument through which I can reach. Similarly, the beyond, the all-pervading Chaitanya, the God who pervades everything and gives existence to all that exists, I cannot contact because my senses cannot reach it, my mind cannot reach it, my intellect also cannot reach it. So I invoke that spirit. I am the waking state. Now I can see only this world, physical world. So I have to transcend. I cannot reach the transcendental. So I want the transcendental. I have to sharpen my intellect. I have to sharpen my senses to penetrate into nature and see the divine, which is pervading everything. Here, the opportunity is given in the temple where look here, it is stone image. But the stone image, try to see beyond the stone something. Make your intellect penetrate and see the God here. If you can see here, you can see everywhere. Your senses become so powerful, so penetrating. Your mind becomes so powerful and penetrating. You transcend the limitations of physical existence. Transcend, go beyond. Your new awakening, new senses come into picture, new mind comes into picture. Now you see, a child cannot understand how a mobile works. Softwares are designed. If we give even normal college students also cannot understand how a software works in a computer. To penetrate into the computer and look into how the software is designed, how it works, and when it goes wrong, how to correct it. All this is possible when my intellect becomes sharp and able to penetrate into what stands beyond, what stands behind the screen I am seeing. From the hardware I can understand. Software to change or design, I need a higher intellect, sharpened intellect. So that comes there through education, here through going to a temple and trying to see God in that image. Look, it has been invoked here. try to see the divine. So the temple, various aspects of temple we are trying to see. We'll continue. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.